September 7th, 1940, 4 p.m. The sirens began their eerie wail across London, rising and falling like a distant scream. For most, it was just another false alarm, another interruption to tea or work. But this time was different. High above the Thames, wave after wave of German bombers, Enkels, Dorniers, Junkers, darkened the sky, their engines a low, throbbing roar that grew into thunder. The first bombs fell on the East End docks, massive explosions lighting up the afternoon like unnatural sunsets. Fires erupted instantly, flames leaping hundreds of feet, sending black smoke billowing over the city. By nightfall, the raid intensified. Incendiaries rained down like fiery snow. High explosives followed, cratering streets, collapsing buildings, burying families alive. One survivor later recalled the sound. The bombs came whistling down, 10 before they crash that shook your bones. People ran for cover, clutching children, gas masks, whatever they could carry. A mother in Stepney pushed her prom into an Anderson shelter just as a direct hit obliterated her neighbor's house. In the underground, strangers huddled together on platforms, the air thick with dust and fear. That night, and 457 consecutive nights after, London endured what became known as the Blitz. Over 43,000 civilians would die across Britain from air raids, nearly half in the capital. Yet amid the terror, ordinary people carried on. A factory worker clocked in at dawn after sleeping in a shelter. Dust still in his hair, a child drew pictures by candlelight while the ground shook. The city refused to break. Blackout curtains stayed drawn, streetlights stayed off. Life adapted to darkness and danger. The question hung in the air every evening, would tonight be the one that ended it all? This was not a story of soldiers in battle, but of civilians, shopkeepers, mothers, bus drivers, children, thrust onto the front line by bombs falling from the night sky. Their heroism was quiet, sharing blankets in cold shelters, digging neighbors from rubble, brewing tea amid ruins. Their losses were immense. Homes gone in seconds, loved ones vanished forever, yet they persisted, night after night, under constant threat. How did they endure? What kept them going when sleep was a luxury and safety a memory? The Blitz tested human endurance in ways few events have. It showed that terror from above could not extinguish daily routines, small acts of kindness, or the stubborn will to live. London borne, but its people did not surrender. They adapted, survived, and in their survival, defied the intent behind every bomb. The Blitz did not begin in isolation. By summer 1940, Britain stood alone against Nazi Germany after the fall of France. The Battle of Britain raged in the skies as the RAF fought to prevent invasion. When that failed to break British air defenses, the strategy shifted. On September 7, 1940, the Luftwaffe turned its focus to cities, aiming to crush civilian morale and force surrender through sustained terror from the air. London, the heart of the empire, became the primary target. Its docks, factories, railways, and dense population made it vulnerable. The raid started with daylight attacks, but soon moved to nights, exploiting darkness to evade fighters and maximize disruption. Night bombing meant no warning until sirens screamed, halbing minutes, sometimes seconds, to seek shelter. Why was this important? The Blitz represented a new kind of warfare. Total war against civilians. Previous conflicts spared home fronts. Now, cities became battlegrounds. Over 9 months, German bombers dropped tens of thousands of tons of high explosives and incendiaries. London faced attacks almost nightly from September to November 1940, with major raids continuing into 1941. The May 10th to 11th, 1941 assault alone killed over 1,400. In one night, destroying landmarks and infrastructure. Daily life transformed overnight. Blackout regulations, enforced since 1939, became light. Windows covered with heavy curtains or paper, streetlights dimmed or extinguished. Any light could guide bombers. People navigated pitch-black streets by feel, risking falls or collisions. Gas masks hung by doors. A constant reminder of feared poison attacks that never came. Air raid precautions, shaped routines. Anderson shelters, corrugated steel in gardens, or Morrison table shelters indoors, offered protection. Many lacked them. Public shelters in basements or parks filled quickly. The London Underground, initially discouraged, became a refuge for up to 177,000 nightly at peak. Families arrived early, staking spots on platforms, sharing tea and stories while trains rumbled past. Sleep fractured. Sirens often wailed after midnight, forcing people underground or under stairs. Polls showed many got no sleep early on, but adaptation set an exhaustion dulled fear. Work continued. Offices opened. Factories ran. Buses and trains operated amid schools improvised lessons and shelters. Rationing tightened food and goods. Bomb damage cut water, gas, electricity. Yet life persisted. Neighbors helped dig out survivors. Volunteers fought fires with stirrup pumps. Children played in craters. Adults queued for rations. The government urged business as usual, and many followed. Psychologists expected mass breakdowns. Instead, severe cases were rare. Anxiety, ulcers, miscarriages rose, but most carried on. The Blitz aimed to break spirit through constant night bombing. It failed. Civilians endured loss, homes destroyed, families torn apart, but found ways to maintain normalcy. Communities strengthened in shelters. Humor emerged in dark times. This period highlighted resilience under siege, where ordinary people faced extraordinary danger every night, yet refused to let fear dictate their days. September 7th, 1940. For 17 p.m., the first wave of bombers appeared over the East End. Docklands worker Alf Morris looked up from unloading crates at Surrey docks and saw the sky turn black with aircraft. "They're coming for us tonight," he muttered to his mate. Within minutes, the sirens howled. Alf grabbed his coat and ran for the nearest public shelter, a brick surface shelter near Jamaica Road. Inside, 30 or 40 people squeezed together. Families, elderly couples, young women clutching babies. The concrete walls shook as the first bombs landed. A young girl, no more than 8, began to cry. An older woman, Mrs. Kathleen Evans, pulled her close. There. We're safe here. Sing with me." She started to roll out the barrel, and soon half the shelter was singing, voices trembling but determined. Across the river in Bermondsey, Nurse Edith Cavell, no relation to the famous one, finished her shift at Guy's Hospital. She decided to walk home to save bus fare. Halfway across London Bridge, the sky lit up with flashes. She ducked into an archway as shrapnel pinged off the stone. A bus conductor pulled her inside his vehicle. "You're not walking in this, miss. We'll take you as far as we can." They crawled through darkened streets, headlights taped to slits, dodging craters and fallen masonry. That first night set the pattern. Bombs fell until dawn. Fires raged uncontrolled because water mains were shattered. Firefighters worked by the light of the flames, faces black with soot. Many were volunteers, men too old or unfit for the forces. One, George Reynolds, 58, climbed a ladder to a burning warehouse roof. A bomb exploded nearby, collapsing the building. His body was never found. October 1940. The raids became relentless. Families developed routines. The Harris family in Bethnal Green, Father Tom factory foreman, Mother Rose, children Billy 12 and Elsie 9, kept a small suitcase by the door. Blankets, thermos of tea, sandwiches, identity cards, a torch, and a photo of their grandmother. Every evening at dusk, they carried it down to the Anderson shelter in the backyard. A half-buried corrugated iron box covered with earth and sandbags. One night in mid-October, a 500-pound bomb landed 2 streets away. The blast wave tore the shelter's door off its hinges and blew out the candle. Billy later remembered, everything went black and quiet. Then Mom's voice. "Everyone all right? Say something." They were covered in soil, but unhurt. They spent the rest of the night sitting in the open crater that had been their neighbor's house, watching the sky glow red. Not everyone had a shelter. In Stepney, the Goldstein family, Jewish refugees from Austria, joined hundreds in the crypt of St. Dunstan's Church. The stone walls offered some protection, but the noise was deafening. Mrs. Goldstein whispered prayers in Yiddish while holding her 2 sons. One night, an incendiary bomb crashed through the church roof. Wardens rushed in with buckets of sand. A young man named David, barely 17, climbed the rafters and stamped out flames with his coat. He saved the building, but suffered severe burns to his hands and arms. November 1940. The underground stations became unofficial dormitories. At Aldwych Bank and Liverpool Street, thousands arrived each evening with blankets and pillows. Families staked out territories with chalk lines. Children did homework by the dim platform lights. One mother told a reporter, "We come down at 7. We leave at 7. It's our bedroom now." On November 14th, a direct hit on Balham Underground Station caused a water main to burst. Hundreds were trapped as water and mud flooded the platform. 68 people drowned or were crushed. Among them was 19-year-old Alice Mitchell, who had gone down with her younger brother to escape the raid. Her last words, overheard by a survivor. "Hold my hand, Tommy. We'll be all right." December brought no relief. Christmas 1940 was spent underground for many. In shelters, people sang carols between explosions. Some children received presents, a wooden toy carved from a broken chair leg, a scarf knitted from unraveled wool. Food parcels arrived from the countryside. Apples, a few eggs, a small piece of cake. One shelled warden recalled, "We had a sing-song. Then the Al-Clea went at 3:30. We went up into white Christmas morning, snow on the rubble." Throughout these months, small acts of courage multiplied. Bus drivers drove through burning streets to get night workers home. Shopkeepers opened shutters amid broken glass to sell bread. Doctors operated by torchlight in basements. The stirrup pump brigades, mostly women and teenagers, patrolled streets, putting out incendiaries with buckets and hoses. Losses mounted. By the end of 1940, over 12,000 Londoners had died. Entire streets vanished. Families lost everything overnight. Yet every morning people emerged from shelters, brushed off dust, and went to work. The phrase "keep calm and carry on" was more than a poster. It became a lived reality. May 10th to 11th, 1941, the heaviest single raid on London. The Luftwaffe sent over 500 bombers. Incendiaries started hundreds of fires. High explosives tore through buildings. The House of Commons was hit. Westminster Abbey damaged. The British Museum suffered. and over 1,400 people died in one night. In Shoreditch, 24-year-old auxiliary firewoman Barbara Nixon was on duty. Her crew fought a blaze at a timber yard for hours. When a wall collapsed, trapping 3 colleagues, she crawled through smoke and flames to reach them. She dragged one man out, then went back for another boat survived. She collapsed from smoke inhalation but recovered. Her station officer later said, "She didn't think twice, just went in." The same night, in Covent Garden, a bomb demolished a block of flats. A young boy, Peter, 10 years old, was buried under debris. His dog, a small terrier named Rusty, refused to leave. The dog's barking guided rescuers to the spot. They dug for 4 hours and pulled Peter out alive, bruised but breathing. The boy's first words, "Is Rusty all right?" By dawn, on May 11th, London was burning in dozens of places. The sky was orange. Firefighters worked past exhaustion. Many collapsed where they stood. Yet they kept going. The fires were gradually brought under control, though some burned for days. After that night, the raids suddenly slowed. Hitler turned his attention to the Soviet Union. The Blitz effectively ended on May 11th, though smaller raids continued sporadically. The city counted the cost. More than 30,000 Londoners killed during the 9-month campaign. Over 1 million homes damaged or destroyed. Entire neighborhoods erased. Yet the population did not collapse. Morale did not break. Historians later noted that the expected mass panic never materialized. Instead, people adapted. They learned to sleep through distant explosions, to queue calmly for water from standpipes, to share what little they had. What was won? Not a military victory. That came later. The win was quieter. The refusal to let terror dictate life. Civilians proved that ordinary people could endure extraordinary hardship without losing their humanity. They helped strangers out of rubble, shared food with neighbors, sang in shelters, laughed at the absurdity of it all. The lesson was simple but profound. Resilience is built in small moments. A cup of tea handed to a firefighter, a song sung to calm a frightened child, a hand reaching out in the dark. These acts, repeated night after night, held the city together. London emerged scarred but unbroken. Streets were cleared, shelters emptied, blackout curtains taken down. Children returned to school, shops reopened, buses ran again. Life, battered and bruised, went on. The Blitz did not make heroes of everyone, but it showed that ordinary people, under pressure, can find courage they never knew they had. They did not defeat the bombers, but they defeated fear itself. And in doing so, they gave the rest of Britain hope that the nation could survive. The last all-clear siren faded into the early morning of May 11th, 1941. Smoke still hung heavy over London, curling around the silhouettes of gutted buildings and skeletal cranes along the Thames. People stepped out of shelters, underground stations, and backyard Andersons, blinking against the dawn light. Faces were gray with dust and exhaustion, eyes redrimmed from sleepless nights, yet many managed small, tired smiles. They had made it through another night. The heaviest of them all. In the weeks that followed, the raids dwindled to almost nothing. The bombers turned east. London began the slow work of repair, clearing rubble, patching roofs with tarpaulin, stringing temporary power lines. Children played again in streets that had been silent battlegrounds. Mothers hung washing on lines strung between bomb-damaged houses. Life, fragile and stubborn, crept back. Looking back, the Blitz was not a triumph of weapons or strategy. It was something quieter and deeper. A testament to what ordinary people can bear when they stand together. No one was untouched. Homes vanished. Families shattered. Futures rewritten in an instant. Yet the city did not descend into chaos. People shared what little they had. A blanket, a cigarette, a kind word in the dark. They dug neighbors from wreckage, comforted strangers' children, brewed tea on makeshift stoves amid ruins. Those 9 months showed that fear, no matter how loud or constant, cannot erase the small, human things that keep us going. A lullaby sung to a frightened toddler, a hand held during an explosion, a joke cracked to break the tension. These were the true defenses. They built a quiet strength that no bomb could shatter. London healed, scarred, but standing. The blackout curtains came down. Lights returned to the streets, and the people who had lived through the nights of fire and thunder carried on, forever changed, yet forever the same. I've just said what's recorded in history. You should find out the real truth yourself. We have written the sources from which we got this story in the description of this video, and we have always been and will be supporters of the oppressed, regardless of their color, race, or country. This world and its creator are also with the oppressed. Like this video if these forgotten stories of ordinary people during the darkest nights of WWII moved you. Comment below. What do you think gave Londoners the strength to endure night after night? Subscribe for more forgotten WWII stories that history books often overlook. See you in the next WWII story.